Blue. Most people think blue eyes in cats are just a pretty color, just something you notice and move on from. But blue eyes are actually connected to something much deeper, and by the end of this, you'll look at a blue-eyed cat completely differently. Blue eyes come from a lack of melanin in the iris. Melanin is the pigment that gives color to eyes, skin, and fur. When there's very little of it in the eye, light scatters inside and reflects back as blue. There's no actual blue pigment. It's just how light behaves when there's almost nothing there to absorb it. Most kittens are born with blue eyes because melanin hasn't developed yet. By around 3 months, the real color begins to show. But some cats keep blue eyes for life. This happens in Siamese, Ragdolls, Burmans, and Balinese cats. These breeds carry a gene that permanently limits pigment in the iris. Here's where it gets interesting. That same gene that keeps the eyes blue is also connected to hearing. Blue-eyed white cats are much more likely to be deaf. The cells responsible for hearing in the inner ear are linked to pigment-producing cells. When pigment isn't there, those hearing cells can fail to develop. Vets have seen this connection many times across many different cats. So blue eyes aren't just a color, they're a sign of something happening at a much deeper level inside the animal. Green. Green is one of the rarest eye colors in cats, and the reason it's rare is actually very specific. It doesn't take a lot of melanin to produce green, but it takes exactly the right amount. Too little and the eye stays blue. Too much and it shifts toward gold. Green only shows up in a very narrow range, which is why you don't see it as often as you'd expect. The Russian blue almost always has vivid green eyes as an adult. The Egyptian Mao and Abyssinian carry it too. These aren't accidents. These colors came from years of keeping specific cats together and maintaining that narrow pigment range. It didn't happen by chance. Green eyes can show up in mixed breed cats as well, though less often. When they do, it usually means there's some breed history somewhere in the background that carried that color forward. What makes green eyes stand out is how stable they are. Once a cat reaches adulthood, green stays exactly the same for life. No shifting, no fading. The cat you see at 1 year is the same cat you see at 15. There's something very certain about green eyes that the other colors don't quite have. Gold and yellow. Gold and yellow are the most common eye colors in cats. They sit right in the middle of the melanin range, not too much, not too little. And because of that, they show up across nearly every breed and most mixed cats with no specific background at all. British Shorthairs, Bengals, Bombay cats, and countless tabby cats all carry this color. It's what happens when pigment production lands in the most natural, balanced range. The intensity can vary a lot. Some cats carry a pale, almost white yellow. Others have a deep gold that looks close to orange. That difference comes down to the exact amount of melanin and how the layers of the eye handle light. There's something else about gold and yellow eyes worth knowing. Because the iris is so bright and the pupil is so dark, the contrast between them is very high. This means the pupil shape is always easy to see, a narrow slit when the cat is calm, wide and fully open when the cat is alert. In gold eyes, that change is very visible, and it tells you more about what the cat is feeling than almost any other eye color does. Amber. Amber sits deeper than gold. Where gold looks bright and clear, amber pulls toward orange. It's heavier, warmer, and more intense. The melanin level is higher, and you can see it clearly in the color. Maine Coons and Norwegian forest cats carry amber eyes very often. In these breeds, the deep color pairs with thick fur and large builds in a way that makes the whole animal look very strong. One thing people often get wrong is mixing up amber with brown. True amber in cats is clearly orange-toned. It catches light and glows. Brown eyes, which are actually quite rare in cats, look flat and dark. The warm glow is what separates amber from everything close to it on the color range. There's also a connection between coat color and amber eyes. Orange and red-coated cats carry amber or deep gold eyes far more often than other cats. This is because the same genes producing that red coat are also pushing melanin in the iris toward warmer, deeper tones. The coat and the eyes are being shaped by the same process. Copper. Copper is the most intense warm eye color a cat can have. It sits at the very top of melanin production before reaching true brown. The color is a rich, dark orange-red that looks almost metallic when light hits it. The Bombay cat is built around this color. Entirely black fur, deep copper eyes. Breeders specifically look for this combination because the contrast is unlike anything else in domestic cats. It's one of the most immediately recognizable looks a cat can have. Persian cats carry copper eyes often as well, especially in darker coat varieties. British Shorthairs can develop it too, though gold is more common in that breed. Reaching true copper in a random mixed breed cat isn't common. The melanin level needed is high enough that it tends to show up most reliably in breeds where it's been kept going over many years. When you see it in a cat with no known breed background, it stands out right away because most cats never reach that depth of color. Hazel. Hazel doesn't sit cleanly in any one color. It moves. Depending on the light and the angle, a hazel-eyed cat can look green one moment and golden brown the next. That shifting quality is exactly what defines it. The reason it shifts is because hazel eyes carry melanin spread unevenly across the iris. Different parts of the iris have slightly different pigment levels. When light comes from different directions, different tones become visible. The eye isn't changing. The light is just showing different parts of what's already there. Hazel shows up more often in mixed breed cats than in purebreds. When breeding is controlled, breeders aim for one specific consistent color. In mixed backgrounds, the random combination of genes can land in this in-between range. Indoor lighting tends to bring out the gold tones in hazel eyes. Natural light near a window often shows more green. The same cat can look noticeably different depending on where you're standing when you look at it. Once you know that, you'll start noticing it every time. Odd-eyed. Odd-eyed cats have two different colored eyes. One blue, one another color. This is called complete heterochromia, and it happens because melanin levels between the two eyes develop unevenly. One eye gets normal pigment and settles into a standard color. The other doesn't get enough and stays blue. White cats carry this most often. The gene that produces a fully white coat can interfere with melanin distribution across the whole body, and the eyes are part of that. That same gene is also connected to deafness. An odd-eyed white cat may be deaf in the ear on the same side as the blue eye. Vets call this unilateral deafness, and it shows up in this group regularly enough that it's worth knowing about. Turkish Van and Turkish Angora cats are the breeds most connected to this trait. In Turkey, odd-eyed white cats have been considered very special for a long time, and the trait has been kept going in these breeds across many generations. The Turkish Van is sometimes called the swimming cat, and the odd-eyed variety is the most valued within the breed. Everything else about these cats is completely normal. They see fine. They behave the same as any other cat, and the two different colors are simply the result of unequal pigment and nothing more. Blue-green. The color looks like shallow water, a soft, cool green with blue visible underneath it. It's one of the less common eye colors in cats and tends to appear in specific breeds rather than showing up randomly. The Tonkinese cat is the breed most connected to aqua. It's not just common in this breed, it's the standard. Breeders work specifically toward this color because it's part of what defines the breed. A Tonkinese with blue or gold eyes doesn't meet the standard. Aqua forms when melanin sits slightly above what produces blue, but slightly below what produces true green. The light behavior that creates blue is still happening, but there's just enough pigment to push the result toward green. The two meet in the middle and produce something that belongs fully to neither. Some Siamese cats carry eyes that look closer to aqua than pure blue, especially in certain lighting. Balinese cats, which are long-haired Siamese, can show this as well. Aqua eyes stay stable through a cat's adult life. The color that settles after kittenhood is the color that stays. And like every eye color on this list, it's not random. It's the result of a very specific amount of pigment doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Every cat eye color comes from one thing: melanin. How much is there and how light moves through it determines everything from pale blue to deep copper. Some colors are tied to specific breeds, some to coat genes, and some to things happening inside the cat that you'd never know just by looking. Blue, green, gold, amber, copper, hazel, odd-eyed, aqua. 8 colors, 8 different results. Each one has a reason behind it. And now when a cat looks at you, you're not just seeing a color. You're seeing something that took years of biology to produce, showing up in one small detail that most people never think twice about.